All right. Welcome back to another episode of Side Note, the podcast about underground dance music and all things related. This week, I have rising newcomer in the techno scene, NEKTER, in the house.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining. Very excited to have. I've seen you play at Fallen Angel.
Yeah.
And yeah, I see your name a lot more on different lineups, and you're definitely sort of growing in profile, and it's cool to kind of be in at the ground floor.
It's insane. I don't even know what's happening half the time. It's
Yeah,
happened so quick.
Yeah, like it seems like, we talked about it a little bit, when I met you, but yeah, maybe give us kind of the rundown of like your DJ journey so far.
Okay, so I taught myself during the pandemic, actually. I bought my first little controller, a DDJ 400, this cute little thing that feels like a plastic toy.
Shout out to Pioneer.
Shout out to Pioneer. I'm here, using your stuff. Love it. Yeah, and I just watched YouTube videos and had a couple people in my life who are also DJs kind of giving me pointers. And yeah, here we are. Did a couple shows here and there, and then yeah, it was the best time to learn, actually, and
right, because everyone's locked in.
Yeah, because actually there weren't many people at the shows, and I was like, this is the perfect time to be awful.
Right.
Which I still have those moments, but I got the worst of it out of the way, I think.
Yeah, do you do the thing where like you record your mixes and then listen in like agonizing detail? Yeah.
You have to, and it helps so much. But yeah, we were just talking about recording ourselves and watching ourselves back. I also started recording myself like visually too, and interesting to watch.
Oh, like catching, like what is your sort of like body language when you're, have you seen those TikTok videos? Like I've seen one where a guy, he like mimics a bunch of famous DJs.
No.
And he's like, this is the Charlotte DeWitt, this is the Nina Kravitz.
Oh my God,
like
that's
this
so
is
funny.
the, Solomon.
I have to see that.
I'll send it your way, but it's really good, and it makes me realize like how everyone kind of has their like kind of physical tick. I don't know if that's the right word.
Is it like, so it's like a caracature? This guy's doing like caricatures of these guys' dance moves and energy on stage.
Yeah, like Solomon is known for, you know him, right?
Yeah,
he's like known for kind of his like silly like deep house thing. And then I feel like Nina Kravitz, I forgot what her thing was, but he like had it spot on. I was like, that's definitely Nina.
Yeah.
I'm not obviously like, I'm a bedroom DJ, play out-ish, but I'm obviously not big enough for anyone to like lampoon me yet, but I would be interested. I'm curious to know what that would be.
That's funny. Me and the girls at Fallen Angel, actually, we've all talked about that. We're like, look, I'm da-da-da-da. Look, I'm da-da-da-da. Like, and we know who we're talking about because we all like have our little dance moves that we always go to, or like our certain energies on stage.
Right.
And it's definitely palatable.
I see a lot more of like this.
I do this all the time. I was at a show the other night. I was doing this for like 45 minutes.
What do you call that? It's not like spirit fingers, right?
I have no idea.
It's like the wave.
It's like wavy fingers.
Yeah, wavy fingers. DJ wavy fingers.
Ooh,
that could be a name too.
Screw NEKTER. NEKTER's dead.
Yeah, done.
DJ wavy fingers.
There you go.
In the house.
People would turn out for that.
I would, but that would be me being there for me. So.
Well, I mean, that's why we do it for us to begin with, right? Because we love it.
Love it. Yeah.
So, I think I saw on your gram that you were invited to play at the Reform show because of like a mix contest that they had.
DJ
so yeah,
contest.
Like, talk about that.
Oh my God, that was so cool. Okay, so a few months ago, Reform put out this DJ contest. They were like, hey, submit a 1-hour mix, and by this date, and the winner will be able to play on the lineup of our Reform
That's so
event.
awesome.
And they said over 90 people submitted 1-hour mixes, and I know a lot of great DJs who submitted, and I won.
Wow.
It was insane. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dirty Epic messaged me
Okay.
to tell me I had won, but he didn't tell me. He was just kind of like, guess who won the DJ contest? And I was like,
Yeah, who?
Who? I'm like, if it's not me, this is like really fucked up.
Yeah, mean joke.
And he was like, we're gonna announce the winner in 5 hours. And so I waited thinking, okay, it must be me, right?
Wait, he told you guess who, and then he made you wait for 5 hours?
He didn't even actually say it was gonna be 5 hours. He said, winner will be announced soon. like with a wink. And I was like, like hyperventilating. I was like, oh my God, was it me? If it wasn't, again, this is really fucked up. Waited every 10 minutes checking Instagram, waiting. And then finally they posted my photo.
Hooray.
And I was like, ha, 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 ha. Like, just so cool, you know, like such an honor and like such a like validation.
Right.
Like, it was insane.
Super cool. And then, I mean,
so cool.
That lineup was so stacked. So now to be able to say that like you've played,
yeah,
you know,
for
like
some
on
like
the same
really
lineup
big
as like
names.
Tenaglia or Josh Wink or something,
yeah.
is like amazing.
Literally insane. That was like one of my goals since the very beginning, which was not that long ago, but one of my goals was to be on a lineup with some of those names, like a lot of those names at some point, and I never thought it would come so soon.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you started during the pandemic,
like
and
a
then,
year and a half ago.
I mean, that's like people dream about like that kind of like ascent.
Yeah, I still don't understand.
So hats off.
Yeah, no, I still am like, what? It was insane, and like, yeah, such a cool event, and to be there, like, and then I was enjoying the event afterwards as a dancer, as a person being at a rave, and I was like watching these amazing DJs like Truncate and Headless Horseman and you know, everybody that was there, and I was like, I played tonight.
Yeah.
I played at the same event as these guys.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but I
don't know if you guys
think
know
I played tonight.
Who I am? DJ Wavy Fingers?
Yeah.
Don't know if you heard of me.
You didn't see me on the flyer, DJ Wavy Fingers?
Awkward. Yeah, it was insane. It was a great night, actually. It was a wonderful, wonderful show.
Well, I mean, I've heard you play, like it's a very sort of distinct sound, I think notably because of how fast you play, which, you know, like I've been around, you know, for a while, and I feel like the BPM sort of change, you know, like I feel like in the early 2000s, it went through like a phase where things got really fast. And then for like 15 years, it's like, oh, like everything was kind of around 120.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then
That's
now.
like snail.
Yeah. And then now it's like, oh shit, we're like at 140. Like you're at like 150?
It depends on the night, but
Okay.
for Fallen Angel, I like to hang out around 150, like 148 to 152. I've had it up to 155 at one point, just depends on the vibe and like the time I'm playing. But that's what that crowd wants. That's what they like.
Right.
They love it. And I don't even play the fastest of all those girls. Ghosts.
Yeah, ghosts in the studio.
Where have you brought me? Yeah, a lot of those girls, they play even faster. Like Emiliana, my friend, she plays hella fast.
Okay,
and
yeah.
hella hard, like harder
and, like,
and faster.
Claus, who we had on, she plays really fast as well.
Yeah, she's got the acid vibe going. She's amazing as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, for me, it's almost gone full circle to where it almost sounds like trance because of how fast it is. And I loved trance, and then it got to a point where like it started getting a little cheesy, and then like it wasn't cool.
No.
It wasn't cool to listen to trance
We don't love
anymore.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like oh, we don't like cheesy.
No.
But yeah, like now it's sort of back, but sort of kind of with this sort of techno cloak around it.
Techno cloak.
Yeah, black, of course, a black
I want to order one.
techno cloak.
Reorder your techno cloak.
I feel like you probably own a few of those, I would imagine.
I have several.
Yeah.
But no big deal.
So like speaking of techno, you know,
Yes.
like I think you have a very particular aesthetic, you know, in terms of not just the music, but in terms of kind of everything is, you know, like the black and white.
I love my black and white.
Yeah. And like kind of, you know, the whole vibe.
Yes.
So I guess like how does one like go about kind of deciding like that's
Their vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know that there was any decision making for me. It just is what spewed out.
Okay.
It's funny, my like other Instagram for like my normal human being
Oh,
life.
okay.
It's like really colorful and bright, and you know, I think it still has this the cool aesthetic that I love. I'm a photographer during the day, so it's visually pleasing to me anyway, and I hope others. But it's very the opposite. So when this like other DJ part of me came out, and very recently, it just kind of started exuding a different energy and a different aesthetic. And I guess the black and white and the visuals and stuff is just an expression of this different side of me.
Okay.
I don't know. It was not really thought out.
So it was just you felt it.
It's
you
just
vibed
what
it.
feels
Yeah,
right,
you
bro.
vibed it.
You gotta like vibe it out. the only way to do it.
And did you rave before the pandemic, or was this kind of a new discovery?
She is like a baby rave girl.
Holy shit.
She's like a baby raver.
Okay.
But I'm also like 30 years old. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know what my timeline there was. I was living in Thailand for a long time, actually.
Okay.
And then I just moved back to LA in 2019. So
Well, yeah, tell us about that. Like,
Thailand?
What were you doing out there? Were you like in Chiang Mai doing like the digital nomad thing?
I was in Bangkok.
Okay.
So I went there originally to study abroad when I was still at university. And I met somebody and fell in love.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, I guess I live here now. So yeah, I lived there for 4 years in Bangkok.
Wow.
I was doing a lot of different things, including I was a kids yoga teacher for a little bit. I was in PR. And eventually I circled back around to photography, which has always been a passion of mine since high school.
Okay.
And delved into freelancing, and that's what I did there. I was a photographer.
Okay. So
still
you're sort of kind of a creative, like jack of all trades, like going
I
from
like
like
that.
photography to the music.
I need different outlets or I get bored.
Okay.
Yeah. So I love my days. I love being in photography and I love being in music now. It's a blessing. But yeah, that was Thailand. It was amazing.
Yeah. Did you make it out to did you travel like around? Okay.
Yeah, I traveled quite a lot to the islands, to the north a few times, different little provinces, different countries nearby. Our neighbor countries, KL a lot, Malaysia,
Okay.
Hong Kong.
Because I actually grew up in Singapore for like middle school and high school, but
Cool.
like different experience, like when you're experiencing it as like a kid, I feel like, and I haven't been back like in my adulthood.
Really, I went to Singapore one time for 18 hours.
Okay.
I
So you just saw
accidentally-
like how nice the airport was, and then
But I got out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like they didn't let you. I remember they didn't let you stay in the airport if your layover was longer than 8 hours.
Got it.
So you can only spend a few hours there, which totally did. It's an amazing airport. And then went and adventured, ate some laksa.
Nice. Okay. So you didn't like
Had
waste
the
time
coffee.
like doing like the
I was
classic
like,
shit.
okay. It was actually an accident. I booked a really long layover to Bali on accident in Singapore. I didn't realize it was 18 hours. And then I was like, shit. I was with a friend. I was like, dude, sorry. We're actually here for 18 hours. So we made the best of it.
It's cool. There are worse places though to be
Yeah.
stuck for 18 hours.
I think we even got a hotel. Yeah, we got a hotel room. So we like took a little nap, ate some food, walked around. Beautiful from what I saw in 18 hours.
I feel like the only downside is like the heat, right?
Yeah, Bangkok heat was pretty rough too.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Very humid, very hot, all the time, all year, the whole time.
So yeah, sorry for a little tangent, but like we'll just talk about it all on this
hopefully
program.
It's what makes me me.
Yeah, yeah.
This is me.
It's behind the music.
Behind the
With
music.
DJ Wavy Fingers.
Yeah.
So like, were you like involved with kind of like the whole? Because there's like real like big expat communities over there,
Yeah.
right? And then
Yeah, definitely. A lot of expat friends, but some Thai friends too.
Got it.
Yeah.
Did you do like the full moon parties to bring
One
it back to
time.
music a little bit?
Yes. One time I went to the full moon party.
Okay.
Didn't love it, but back then I was less into this world than I
Right.
am now.
I heard it's
So,
like
I
a
don't know.
bunch of just like sloppy
Oh,
Australians.
for sure. It's a sloppy time. You're not getting out of the slop. It is sloppy. People are just like having sex in the ocean
Okay. Wow.
while also like urinating in the ocean. So it's like you can see a lot happening. But that's festival life, I guess. It's
That's
party
true.
life.
Yeah. I mean, not any festival in the States, but
But when you go abroad,
Yeah.
it's different.
it's different. It's different.
It's different.
It slaps different.
It slaps differently. But actually, to keep it on music and Thailand, where I discovered my love for this and what started this whole thing was a festival, music festival in
Okay.
Thailand called Wonder Fruit.
Okay.
And I've been twice. It's an amazing festival, and like it's spread out in these huge fields. There's like several stages and all these different art stuff and this and that, and you just wander around for like 4 days, listening to different music. And
What's the vibe like? Is it like burner vibe or like? I'm imagining like for some reason psytrance vibes, but
there's definitely a lot
Okay.
of that. There's every kind of vibe. There's even like
Okay.
traditional Thai music happening. Like
Oh,
it's
awesome.
a 24 hour for 4 days festival. So there's something happening at all hours of the day. So there's a multitude of genres, a lot of dance music, obviously. But I didn't even really know what techno was, but I had ventured over to the stage, one of the stages, and it was definitely the one playing the fastest, most aggressive music. I think it was techno. I don't even remember what it was because I didn't know. I just remember this is fucking cool. And my friends were like, let's go to the other stages. La la, this is so hard and heavy. I'm like, I know.
You're like, I'm into it.
I'm like, I love it. They're like, it's scary though. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking cool. I was like, this is where I was just like, that is amazing. Like, changed my life. And I started seeing these DJs as wizards. Like, to me, a DJ is a wizard. Like, they control the room. Like, they're just like playing with the energy. And I think that that's literally magic.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
I mean,
it's epic.
I think when we talked about it at Fallen Angel, it's like DJs are like a shaman, right? Or
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
medicine man.
Yeah.
There's actually
Totally.
this book, I forgot the names of the authors, but it's called Last Night a DJ Saved My Life. And
I have that book.
okay. Yeah,
I've
and
not
like,
finished it. It's a big book.
yeah, like the whole like
thick.
gist of it, at least in the beginning, is like, oh, the DJ medicine man has existed for all of time, except he was like a guy with like bongos.
Totally.
Or she, you know,
Yeah.
but probably back in the day, probably a guy,
Probably.
but a person,
Yeah, a human being.
a
of
human
sorts.
being of sorts, with like bongos around the
Yes.
fire.
Yes.
Right? In the
Yes.
dark. And now we've transitioned from that to, you know, lasers and pro-grade sound system, but it's like the same
yeah.
idea.
Same
idea.
thing. It's actually funny you say that, that we call it a shaman, because I have one of my DJ mentors and really good friends, Ian, is also a DJ, Ian Carney, and he is also a like medicine man, shaman. He's like learning about all of that. He's very spiritual,
okay.
and like he's like protegeing with a real medicine man.
Oh, wow. Does he want to come on the pod?
He totally would.
Okay.
Oh, he totally would. He's an Irish guy, but he's living in Mexico, but
Okay.
he's planning on being here soon. He
Awesome.
will definitely visit, and he would love to talk about music. He's who taught me a lot.
Okay. Because I definitely have like medicine man inclinations.
Oh, yeah, you got it. Then you and this guy would vibe hard.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like every week down there right now, he's like traveling around to different villages with this other guy, learning about ceremonies and how to give
awesome.
give medicine. And
Have you done any of that? Like, has that piqued your interest?
I've done some.
Okay.
He's doing like ayahuasca's ceremonies
Okay.
and wachuma and stuff like this,
Okay.
which I have not delved into yet. But baby ceremonies here and there.
Okay.
I
You
have.
should. You should.
Yeah. Have you?
Yeah. Like a lot.
Whoa. Tell me what you've done.
Okay, so like I think ayahuasca definitely.
How many times?
So I've gone to maybe like 3 or 4 retreats.
Wow.
Um, But my ex-girlfriend Julia, we met at an ayahuasca retreat, and then from there, like
Cool.
she actually like went down the rabbit hole like much deeper than I did. So she like, you know, the time we were together, she was like facilitating at least once a month.
She was facilitating.
Yeah. Yeah, because she like works in healthcare, and then having her around, they were like, oh, like we need someone like you to
Yeah.
like kind of give us some like safety. Cool. But yeah, through her, like, I guess I kind of have access to like a lot of like what's going on like in SoCal. So I've done ayahuasca. There's another one. It's called 5-MeO DMT. It's like related to DMT. But it's like a completely different experience. They extract it from the venom of this toad that only exists.
Right.
Like
Does it have another name?
I don't know if it has like a street name, but like the toad is
thought
called
it
like
has
Bufo alvarius.
Bufo.
Okay.
Okay, I've heard Bufo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one is the craziest. Like that one is like the granddaddy.
Over DMT?
Yes.
No.
So that one is like,
I didn't know there was something more than DMT.
yes. So like,
Oh my God.
in like the hierarchy, like the Bufo is definitely number 1.
Whoa.
You basically have like full ego dissolution. So, you know, NEKTER doesn't exist, like Nick doesn't
yeah.
exist. And then
Yeah.
it's just like union with, you know, what I would consider to be, you know, like God or
Right.
whatever you want to call
Yeah.
that source energy. DMT, which is only slightly below, but
Okay.
still like equally as crazy. And, you know, you can either take it in a long form like ayahuasca, or you can like smoke it.
Whoa.
I guess the smoked one is definitely distinct, where it's like you're still there. So like, you know, Nick and NEKTER still exist, but all of reality that we know, like 3D reality, is just replaced with something else. And it's really fucking weird and
my God.
almost a little scary.
Yeah.
And there's beings. It's like,
Sorry, what?
It's like common experience is like, you know, like 3D reality dissolves. You're in this sort of new like 5D geometric reality, and there are entities that like communicate with you. So I remember distinctly, they were like singing at me, and
At you?
Yeah, singing at me, and the whole time I'm just like, you know, like jaw drop, like what the fuck is going on? It's this very sort of like behind the curtain experience. And I remember as it started to taper off, I could hear like a million like little disembodied voices going, bye.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So yeah, and it's like really common thing. Like you can look at trip reports and stuff like on YouTube, and everyone is like, dude, like I don't know what's going on. But there's like people.
There's like, people?
They're like geometric people. It's like this like hyperspace like trapezoid that talks to you, and there's like many of them. Yeah. I know I sound fucking crazy.
No, I understand because I've done ceremonies.
Okay.
Like I just did one a month ago or so. It was psilocybin and MDMA in a sound ceremony.
Okay.
So it was
hippie
instruments.
flip.
Yes, and we were blindfolded, like not blindfolded. We had masks on our face, so it was a total, you know, like inner experience, inner journey, about 5 hours, and we had my good friend doing a sound bath as well. So playing all these amazing instruments, and you experience very specific things that other people also experience, and you know it to be true.
Right.
Like you feel that it's.
Yeah.
Reality, it's truth.
Right.
And you're all experiencing it. That's what makes it so cool. You're really tapping into and experiencing something.
You get it.
That's there. Yeah. So I get it. You don't sound crazy.
Yeah. Because I always when I'm like telling friends, I always like disclaim like, okay, like I acknowledge this could very well just be, you know, like brain on drugs, but like deep in my like soul, I feel it to be true. Like,
yeah. And it is. It is true.
Yes.
Ceremonies.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, my DJ friend / shaman friend, he's all-in-one awesome person.
Okay.
Got to talk to him.
Well, you'll have to hook up the Connect.
The show.
Sweet.
Dude. Connections.
But I guess, you know, back to the music, you know, so like I feel like if you really like kind of the hard techno shit, like are you the kind of person who would have been into like metal, or who is into metal like back in the day? That's
interesting. Back in the day, I definitely had my like emo moment.
Okay.
And God, I'm embarrassed to see those photos, but I was like dating someone in like a metal band, like a screamo band. So I would like go to these shows and they'd be like mosh pits, and they'd be like, I don't remember it being that great, but I guess I was into it at the time. But I see how it's kind of like similar. The aggression levels.
Yeah. Like the current techno scene, like I love, but it's like an interesting dynamic for me because it's like the plur is still there. Like everyone's still rolling, but like the kind of clothing and the visual aesthetic is very dark.
Yeah. What's that about?
Yeah.
Is that a reflection of society?
But I'm like,
hard-hitting questions.
That's true. Like it could be a reflection of society. Like rave has like taken like a darker turn because of where we are. Yeah. Because of Trump.
It's definitely possible. I think we should explore that more.
Yeah. But I was like, I feel like I'm at, like, have you seen that movie Blade where like the vampires are raving? Yeah.
Oh, that was a cool, I love that movie.
But I'm like, I feel like I'm at the rave in Blade, like with like the like upset vampires, and like everyone's fucked up and having a good time, but there is
like a little scared.
Yeah, but I'm like a little scared, and there is like a like slight energy of like kind of aggression.
Yeah, it like looks like aggression, but is it?
It's true, right?
Do you experience?
No, it's true.
Experience the actual aggression?
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah. You're right.
It's just it just looks like
it's sort of, it's just sort of like the aesthetic is one of aggression, and then it sort of like turns your expectation upside down because everybody's really nice.
So great.
Yeah.
I did not know that. When I first entered, I was like tiptoeing in, like, oh, scary.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they're all like, everybody's really warm and supportive, actually.
Yeah. Actually, so I was talking to Danny from Rave Train.
Yes.
You know,
shout out to Danny.
And he's been around for a minute. And I was asking him, I was like, yeah, so, you know, like, and this is before I had gone to like Fallen Angel. And I was like, yeah, so like I'm seeing on the gram, like it looks a little like scary. Like is the plur still there? And like he like reassured, he's like, no, actually, like of all the scenes in electronic these days, like he said that, you know, hard techno is probably like one of the most plur.
Really?
Which I can kind of agree with, you know, like especially like Fallen Angel and then Reform, like even though the aesthetic is like dark, like the vibes were like very positive.
Yeah.
You know, and actually another thought on that, like I feel like the electronic scene these days like very much wants you to sort of like pick your lane.
Yeah.
So for instance, like back in the day, it was all just rave, right? And you had like multiple rooms.
Yeah.
But like now, like the hard techno scene has like a very particular aesthetic.
Yeah.
And then you go to like the deep house party, and it's all like boho, like
they all have very particular aesthetics.
And it's like
and
everyone
vibes.
wants you to like pick your like clique. I'm like, I don't want to pick my clique. Yeah.
It is so clicky. Because even myself now, I'm like, we like make fun of tech house. We're like, oh God, tech house.
Yeah.
But I'm like, do I like it? Or do I just think I don't like it? I don't actually think I like it, but I have to question myself sometimes because it can be very clicky. And like the techno people could be like, oh, you listen to Solomon?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah. Or like Fisher.
Yeah, it's just like
Right, and like the tech house bros, they're all like college, like frat bros.
Yeah, we know what they look like.
Yeah, and then like the bohos at the deep house party, and then the goths at the techno.
That's how I know as a DJ what each person wants to listen to. I'm like, okay, let me throw on something I know you're gonna like, because based on what you're wearing, you're like clearly tech house. I'll play it for you so that you're happy, but like, ew, honey, learn techno, bitch. But you know, it's very judgy.
It is, and like at Reform, I was like, I don't like that. Like everyone's making me like pick a side. Like I want to just kind of enjoy it all. And I think that the thing that, you know, I loved Reform, but the thing that did sort of bug me as like a psychedelic sort of head was that all the visuals were black and white, and I'm like, you know, can I get a yellow laser up in this?
Can I get a yellow laser?
Can I get a purple laser up in this?
There was not much color, actually. Now that I'm thinking about the visuals on the main stage were all black and white all night, right? There was some color in the room, but all the other spaces were pretty much... The Discovery stage that I performed on was blue.
Right. Well, that was the one with the staircase next to it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was the Discovery stage.
But yeah, main stage was just pure black and white.
The whole night.
Yeah, the whole night. And I was like, these tunes are awesome, but I need like some more like color in my face right now.
Yeah, it would help the stimulation, keep you awake.
Yes.
Which, you know, as an older woman, sometimes I need a little stimulation.
I feel like older is like a dubious sort of descriptor there, but
yeah.
I guess in rave, like...
I feel like, I'm older than them sometimes. I'm like, I'm tired, guys.
Yeah.
Can I get a yellow laser?
Yeah, like I'll go out now and I'll be like, my back hurts.
Oh yeah, same. It do be like that. It do be like that.
Yeah, so I guess back to the clicks. Have you explored outside of techno, like any of the other kind of niches?
Not really. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Basically, no.
Because I feel like...
Because I also just started and then I just like dived into techno immediately. And I
would
feel happy
wonder,
there, so I'm like, I don't need to leave.
Right. I would be curious to like get, you know, like your feedback from like, okay, as a like hard techno person, like what would your opinion be?
I definitely get bored.
A boho party, really?
I like it to get darker. Sometimes when I go to like I find myself at a club or something that's playing more housey music, I find myself wanting more.
Fair.
Darkness.
Fair.
I'm like, y'all are too happy. I'm like, throw on some black.
That's true.
Turn up the bass. That's just me though.
I kind of like it all like stirred in a soup though, you know, like. So my favorite.
Good soup.
Yes, soup for you.
Good soup.
So like my favorite DJs are Sasha and John Digweed. I don't know if you're familiar. They're definitely old
really,
now.
Actually.
They're definitely old now. They're like, you know, like in their 50s.
What kind of music?
They play like what would be described as like progressive techno. And back then it was progressive house. But it was very much, and I'll send you some mixes, like it's very much like kind of the soup. So like their whole thing is like it's a journey. So it goes from like airy and ethereal to like funky and deep to like heavy and dark, and you're kind of getting the whole experience throughout
That's nice.
throughout the night.
A spectrum,
yeah, and like
if you will.
Yes, you get the spectrum, and for sure, like that is why like even as old DJs, like I will time and time again like continue to line up for them because like you always kind of get like that full gamut, which I appreciate so much, because like along the lines of like the discussion around clicks, I feel like if you're a tech house DJ, you feel like you can only play that, and so on and so forth for like every genre,
right?
And it's rarer rather to kind of get like a mix.
Yeah, it is. It's unique.
And sometimes like DJs who do try, like they get shit on, like who was it? Nina Kravitz like dropped like psytrance or was dropping psytrance
really?
in her sets for a while.
And they were not happy?
People were not happy.
They
like,
put in a complaint in the complaint box on the way out.
There's like memes. There's like
bad
memes.
Yelp review.
Yeah. They're like,
Nina Kravitz, 1 star.
This. It's like, come on, she's trying some new shit.
Yeah, she's just a DJ. You should just let them play what they want to play. You're there. I feel like you're there to see a DJ because you want to hear what they like. Like I like DJs because their taste.
Yeah.
And if it ventures outside of techno, then it ventures outside of techno.
Right.
And if it goes with the set and the flow, and they make that work, that's even cooler.
Yeah.
Like cool.
Yeah, they're there to curate. Like you're trusting them.
It's like going to a restaurant and like changing the menu item.
Yeah.
Versus being like, I'll have what the chef recommends as he wants to make it.
The
He's
chef,
the fucking chef.
omakase, like, yeah,
You know,
do your
like
thing.
I'm here because I want to know what this mofo likes.
Yeah, agreed.
And he says it's good, so I want to taste what he thinks is good. Same with the DJ, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are showing up for Nekter's hard techno and any other
And I also
assorted.
love hypnotic techno, actually.
Okay.
I have been dabbling in that more
Okay.
than hard techno, but it's always faster,
Okay.
but less hard.
Yeah, like, so are there like current DJs that you sort of view as like, not role models, but like inspirations?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I love Truncate.
Okay.
Lindsay Herbert, just saw her the other night.
Okay.
Yeah, these are two people I'm really inspired by. A lot of Drum Cell,
Okay.
Developer, DJ Hyperactive.
Okay.
Yeah, Furter. There's a lot, actually.
Okay.
But it's like this very hypnotic. The mixes, the transitions are way longer.
Right.
So it's more like there's more of this mingling of two songs for a longer time. Like in hard techno.
It can be like in and out.
Yeah, it's more like faster. It's faster mixing. And so there's more tracks in a set usually because it's like I'm in a track for a minute and a half before I'm transitioning into another one. And then it's like that one's gone, this one's up. Okay, transition, Whereas hypnotic is more like, okay, these two songs are going to be jamming together for 2 or 3 minutes.
Right.
And see what that sounds like. And then go into this one by itself. And I love that.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of like the longer mixes, and then like I think the beauty about kind of the raw hypnotic techno is that it's pretty stripped down and kind of minimal. So
I love
it's
that
conducive
minimalness.
To kind of like
so when
layering.
you put 2 and 2 together, it's not too much going on at one time because they're very minimal. So one has like a beep boop and one has like a da da da, and then they like go together. Whereas hard techno is just like both tracks are like da da,
I know exactly what you're talking about right now. I think the audience definitely gets it too.
I wonder if that was a lot of sound effects. I hope you get that. But if you do, you know what I mean.
So what is your kind of process if you know you're going to be playing out live? Like, do you like to program sets?
Generally, at this stage, I feel more comfortable planning a set.
Okay.
I think it would be fine if I didn't, but my anxiety would like for me to plan something.
Right.
Just because I'm that kind of person. So what I do is start to try to be a little bit of a psychic and get a feeling of the vibe of the night. Like I start by thinking about what group's putting it on, if it's Fallen Angel or somebody else, like what do those people like to listen to? What is the mood of this venue? What time am I playing? All sorts of things like that. What's the poster even going to look like? What's the art? Where's the direction of this whole thing going?
Yeah, like what's the aesthetic?
Yeah, like what's happening? I take that all into my brain. And from there, I don't know what happens at that point, but then I go into my collections of music and I just know what fits what I have culminated in my head, if that makes sense. It sounds crazy.
So it's some kind of like, it's like an astral projection.
Yes, like I just like trust that whatever I've put into my brain has like knows what to select. So then I have a filter system. I just start listening to tracks a little bit here and there, and my brain will say yes or no.
Got it.
And then I throw all of those yeses into a playlist, and then I start putting them into order. And the ones that don't sound well in the end, they get the boot. And then hopefully what I've stripped down at that point is great. Then I take time to think about the journey. Usually I start a little bit lower energy and work my way up as, you know, the classic form.
Right.
Maybe a little break in the middle depending on how long I'm playing. And yep, that's about it.
It sounds like a pretty deep methodology, I feel like.
Yeah, something's happening in there. I can't articulate it.
Yeah, because like some people are very just like, I don't plan at all. Like, I don't know if you know Mama J, like I had her on.
Oh, yeah,
she's
yeah,
like,
I
don't
love her.
plan a single thing.
I know. Or our other friend who's associated with Fallen Angel, Orly Gal, she also is just, most of the time she's just like, yeah. But they've been in it for a while as well.
Right.
So they're like comfortable as fuck. Whereas I'm, you know, since I'm new, I'm like, oh my God, are they gonna like me? I'm gonna plan it a little bit. You know, becoming less of that and becoming way more comfortable on stage or on the decks, you know, in front of people.
I mean, but I think there are like big DJs who are like well respected who still engage in like a fair amount of like set planning. It kind of depends.
Do you know who? I wonder.
I feel like Sasha has mentioned that he plans. I feel like Houghton definitely plans. If I'm mistaken, guys, feel free to come on and like correct me.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they do at some point. I mean, some people are just, it's more, I don't know, it's more pre-planning.
Yeah, and then for
I
sure.
love a pre-plan.
Yeah, I love I love a plan. I'm definitely behind like pre-planned set, except for like when you're like the big like EDM guy and you're just playing the same set like night after night.
That's the one thing in my head. I was like, well, if you're like a touring DJ, I don't know, if you're like just continuously playing this set, it's kind of like, doesn't that get stale? It gets stale for me to play a set again. Like I have like replayed a set. If it was something small, I'll just be like, oh, I'll just play that set I played that worked, you know, a few months ago or whatever at a different event with different people. But maybe it probably feels stale to me, you know. So I imagine if they
you got to keep yourself interested as well.
You have to. Yeah. If I'm not interested, I'm like, you do. I feel like my mixes will reflect that. Like I feel like it's just the magic's gone. Totally. It doesn't sound nice anymore.
I've definitely been to shows where like, you know, you could tell like the DJ is just not feeling it.
It's just like mechanical at that point, like robotic.
Not in it.
The human has gone. The human has left the building.
Yeah. So as a newcomer, like I'd be curious to know like, what's your take on like sync? Because I for one
on what?
Like sync.
Because I for one steak, and I was like, well, I'm vegan, so I don't love it, but
yeah. What beats do you like with your steak?
Oh, I do like beats though.
Because I for one I don't have a problem with people using sync. Like, you know, people use the technology that's available to them, but you know, like there are definitely purists who are like, oh, you fucking use the sync button.
I think that you should not use the sync button. Okay. It's like in photography. Like if anybody's learning photography, I say go to manual mode immediately. Like that's where you're gonna be. That is all you. You know what I mean? Like that's the human part of DJing. Like you should not use it. Yeah. But if you do, I don't care. I don't care. Whoa. The technology is there. I just had a spasm. This is what happens when I try to talk too fast and I get excited. Slow down, Nectar. If the technology is there and you're just playing a random little thing, then I think it's fine. I've done it. Like I was DJing on a boat last weekend for Labor Day, which was super fun. But I was also just like sitting and, you know, drinking and looking out, and I was just like, sync. I was just like, I don't feel like doing that whole thing. But at a proper show where people come to see me, like at Fallen Angel.
Yeah, like maybe you owe it. You feel like you owe it.
I feel like I owe it to like be a person up there, right? You know, who's gonna have like, do they beat match well or not? Like that's a cool thing about a DJ, and I can only allow people to see that, right? If I don't use sync.
So here's the thing though, like the CDJs do like tell you the BPM, right?
Yes.
So like you could not use sync, but theoretically like, oh, okay, I know I'm at 135 and just like, burp, 135.
For sure, we do that. But you still have to beat match.
Right, yeah, you still have to like phase match, I guess. Like you got to like
for sure.
adjust the platter to make sure it's right.
Yeah.
But it's like for me, like, because I'll definitely like, you know, like I'll play at parties, I'll definitely use sync because I'm like, okay, I can see the BPMs, so like I can either take the 2 seconds to like, oh, okay, now they're both the same.
Oh yeah, I use sync for that.
Yeah.
I'll like throw it on for a second to match the BPMs,
Right.
and then I'll throw it off.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Right,
technology's there.
and then you gotta like kind of like adjust the platter.
you gotta do the thing. The DJ thing.
Yeah, as long as you can adjust the platter, like if you know how to adjust the platter,
Yes.
like
Adjust the platter.
yeah, you're good. That
That's
should be
it.
a T-shirt.
Adjust the platter.
Adjust the platter.
It's a good reminder.
I'm gonna get that printed for the next show.
Do
I'll be
it.
like, hey.
Adjust the platter.
Or you should wear it the next time you.
I would totally wear it. I want to get some merch.
Yeah, well, maybe we can get Rave Train to do adjust the platter merch, and we'll all wear it out.
Yes.
Shout out to Rave Train. Check out Rave Train. He
Rave
does do
Train.
merch.
Rave Train is the best.
Yeah, and just like going strong. Just a side note on Rave Train, like ultimate stamina as a raver for all these years.
I know. He's actually told me. I hope it's okay to say. He's writing an ebook on raving.
Really?
Didn't he tell you about this or no?
No.
No, that was somebody else. Yeah, he was telling me he's writing a ebook on like a how-to manual.
How to rave?
On raving because he knows so much.
Yeah,
He's been around for so long. He's like, I know what's up.
He does.
He's writing a book on it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that probably will sell actually.
Yeah, he should.
I will buy it.
He should.
How do I do this?
Yeah, and like all of his like content, like again, shout out Danny.
Shout outs. Shout outs.
Oh, I didn't mean to ask you. So do you follow that worst techno memes group?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, it's like on Facebook.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
I
and
do.
it's like I have until I discovered that group, like I'd never felt so seen before.
They just know us, man.
Yeah, they just know. Like all the in jokes, like from like kind of like, you know, like the drug stuff to like
I
the
know,
music
like you know
stuff.
what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I've been there.
I know. It makes it so acceptable.
Yeah.
Like you feel so accepted.
Yeah.
You're like, my crazy degenerate lifestyle is shared by others. That's nice.
There's 400,000 other people in this group who
They know what's
exactly, what we're talking about.
Yep, been in all the same situations.
Although, like, and I feel like the majority of those people are like in Europe, though.
For sure, they are not here.
Yeah, because the Europeans,
we're like the lone wolves over here. Like,
the Europeans
hold
like
it
know how to
down.
do it.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't sustain like, I mean, we have an EDC, but we couldn't sustain like a Tomorrowland. And like we have one EDC.
Yeah.
They have like multiple of like that magnitude, just like all year round.
that is insane.
Yeah.
How do they do it? I feel like Europeans must have more energy because they like will party all weekend, all night, and go to work on Monday. Or like what?
Well, they're all
I can't
healthier.
do that.
They all like eat, like they don't eat like processed food. Like they don't have it shoved in their face the way we do. They all
Oh my
walk
God.
a lot.
We're so American. So annoying. I hate it. Help
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. I mean, like Berlin.
Shout out to Berlin.
Yeah, shout out to Berlin. Is that something you'd ever consider, like moving to like?
God, the weather, dude.
Yeah.
I can't. It's too cold.
That's true. That's true.
I would love to be like a touring European DJ one day, like me and Sarah were talking recently, Sarah Strandberg.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Sarah.
Shout out to Sarah.
We love you.
Right, because she did that. She did that whole thing.
Yeah, she did that. And she was living there for a while and touring around a lot. But we were talking about touring there, and God, yeah, it would just be amazing. And I know a lot of people like Truncate, one of my idols and now my friend. He goes traveling a few times a year, like to different parts of the world, and
Right.
it's just like that would be cool.
Yeah.
I could do that, but I don't think I could live there because it's really cold.
It's true. It's true.
I
I don't
like
know that
that.
I could do the touring thing either. Like, have you thought about that? Like where this goes for you?
I just
and
got
like,
tired thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like that does sound exhausting. Traveling used to be such a thing for me because like living in Asia for a while, I was
Right.
traveling a lot, and it was great. But at a certain point, I don't know if it's just getting older in general or just like after you've done it for a while, you're like, I just want to not do that. Just want to sit in one place and don't go anywhere. And then that becomes what you want.
Yeah.
And then leaving the house becomes the bummer.
It's true.
It's just like, ugh.
It's true.
I'm tired.
Like I love like, so, you know, I've been in the scene for like a long time, and I feel like, you know, traditionally I'll maybe like go out to a party like once every month and a half, like maybe 2 months. And more for the pod, you know, I'm going out to like support artists that I meet with and kind of network. And it's like getting out of the house to do it is always so like,
oh, I know. Even for me.
Oh yeah.
Totally. Because like my normal life is very much like yoga, meditation, you know, early nights, reading books by the Dalai Lama, like, you know, and all that stuff. And then I have a show and I'm like, all right, mama, gonna have a little nap tonight. Yeah. You're gonna rally. You're gonna be energetic. And I have to pump myself up sometimes. I'm excited about it. I like it. I enjoy it, but it is so like different from my other days that it's like hard sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, because I see like on the gram, like you, Claus, and Danny, like constantly like out. And I'm like, dude, how do they do it?
I am not out as much. I'm probably, out of all the Fallen Angel girls, I guarantee you I'm the one who's inside the most. Because when my friends see me out, they're like, you came out?
Oh, really?
And I'm like, yeah, but like I need to go out because every time I go out and see somebody, I get inspired and I learn, you know, and I love what I'm doing. Despite, you know, talking about staying in and stuff, like I really love the scene and I love the music and stuff. So yeah, I do make it a point to go out because it's like half fun, half like research. Yeah. Research based.
Yeah, like you love it. Like, I mean, I certainly have, but there is the ambivalence of like, you know, part of me just wants to like be on the couch, like
totally. I always have that like moment of the night where I'm like, all right.
Yeah, like we can get through this.
I'm like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. I have this whole routine of when I get done playing or when I get done like raving, I like get into my car. I have like a jazz for sleep playlist that I like throw on. And I have like my like Tylenol ready and a bottle of water when I get home, like maybe like a little cookie. And I'm like, I make it like super welcoming when I get home and like.
So wait, it's waiting for you?
Yeah.
So before you leave, you set it up.
I set it up.
Okay, wow.
I'm that person.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I make my bed every morning. I set out little treats for myself when I get home. So I'm like, you know, a good girl and I drink my water and take my Tylenol. So I'm ready to be productive the next day. It's like, hop back into it.
It's like you're like your own Santa Claus, like with like the milk and cookies.
And I get home and I'm like, oh my God, sometimes I do surprise myself. And I'm like, you are so sweet. I love you. You got to do that. You got to love yourself. Treat yourself.
Self-care is important.
Self-care is not selfish.
Yeah, it's not.
No.
And it's a necessity.
Totes.
So I did want to ask, so I think I saw like you're starting to produce now. Is that?
I mean, no. I posted something the other day. My friend Calvin, shout out to Calvin, we love you. He came out the other night to my house to just teach me like the very basics of Ableton. Okay. Like I've never seen the program before, but everybody around me was like, you need to start producing. You have to produce. You have to produce. You need to start producing. When are you going to start producing?
Right.
So I was like, all right, well, I guess I got to start producing. So, yeah, I just had my friend come over and he taught me kind of like the very basics of the program, which is the program is a lot.
Yeah,
are you familiar with Ableton?
I am.
Okay, so yeah, it's like a lot going on there. So I just was learning the very, very basics, and I just put together a couple, after my lesson with my friend,
some beats?
I just put together some very basic, like my first beat putting of together.
Okay.
And made a little, 30-second jam.
Do you have like musical background?
I was in choir and show choir for a long time.
Oh, they're the Spirit Fingers.
Yeah, that's where they came from. They've adapted to be a little cooler these days. They got remixed. Back in the day, it was this. Now it's this. I was in choir and show choir for about 7 years of my life, from middle school up until college.
Okay. So some of that would probably be useful, I feel like.
Swear.
In terms of the music theory.
I swear I didn't learn anything in choir. I was like never paying attention that whole time. I'm really mad because they were teaching us how to learn music that whole time and I never paid attention. I like I probably know some very basic things, but I really, every single assignment, I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm just here to sing, dance. I'm like, fuck the theory. But now I'm like, damn it, Mackenzie.
Oh, you're like, yeah, I wish
I'm
I
like,
had
you
remembered.
really could have been paying attention that whole time. But I didn't. So no, that's all I have.
Okay, but what it does mean is that you can start singing vocals on your tracks eventually.
I would love to do that. I actually am not that great of a singer either. I don't know why I was in choir for so long, but I'm a great background singer, and maybe I could do some I would love to do some not like spoken word, but like saying some kind of things on tracks.
Yeah, like saying trippy things.
I love saying trippy things during songs. Actually, one of my ideas that I want to learn how to start producing because I have these ideas for things and I want to be able to do them. But one of my ideas is just to start collecting little quotes and sound bites from friends and people I meet in life and use these as loops or beats or tracks or just little samples of things. I want to do that so bad. I just think it's such a cool way to integrate creativity into producing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a good vocal sample of just random talking in a track is always well received.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love just words on repeat or little sounds from people. I have there's always a lot of vocal in my tracks that I choose to play. Usually it's not a full cohesive thing. It's just a word over and over again or a little loop. But it's so cool. For a big breakdown, have someone talking or I don't know, just there's so many possibilities.
Yeah, I think I was joking with someone on the show where basically you can say anything and as long as the track is good, people will lose their shit.
Yes.
So it could be just yeah, I'm gonna wash my clothes or
yes.
Or I guess in COVID land, wash your hands. Hands. You should do that.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. 20 seconds.
Yeah. And the crowd would be like, dude,
so meta.
I literally would. I'd be like, what's this track?
Yeah.
Fucking cool. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, someone released one, I think it was Lee Foss, released a track called Social Distancing.
There was a few COVID-related tracks during the pandemic.
Who's gonna do the COVID compilation where it's the mix?
Oh my God.
The 2-hour mix
of
just
all the tracks.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants to deal with that, emotionally. I don't want to deal with all of that.
It'd be pretty traumatic.
It would be PTSD. You'd be
yeah. You would have the vocal samples of Fauci and Trump and just the whole whole gamut.
Triggering. Trigger warning on this mix.
That's the name of the mix.
Trigger warning.
COVID trigger warning.
Bruh, I think we have to do it now. I don't want to do
Collab.
it. That's too much. Yeah, we definitely have to share this job because it's a job. And we're gonna need a ceremony after that.
Yeah, probably. We'll definitely have to meditate very hard before and after to clear the juju.
A lot of saging.
Yes.
I'll bring my crystals.
I got a few.
Okay, great. With the power of our crystals combined.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that because I've been wanting to institute, I got to remember to sage before I bring people to shoot.
Totally.
And I always forget, maybe done it once, but.
Sage or Palo Santo?
Yeah, both. Yeah.
Which one do you prefer?
So I think I prefer Palo Santo.
Same.
But I feel the new shit that for me is the new king is Copal.
Oh, Copal.
Yeah.
See. My friend Ian has been talking about Copal a lot.
Have you smelled it? Have you?
I have it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. I'm actually going to Mexico soon, so that's the place to grab it apparently. But you can get it at some Mexican flea markets here. Where do you get yours?
So I ordered online, but I realized it's varying degrees of quality. So a lot of people, what they're selling you is shitty incense with a little bit of Copal sprinkled in.
Laced with Copal.
Yes, just laced.
We love that shit.
But weirdly, there's a specialty wine store on Lincoln that also sells
good to know.
That also sells Palo Santo and Copal and all this stuff. I'm oh, okay, so you're selling cheese and wine,
but also
because this is Venice, they're but also.
Oh right, I forget we're on the west side. Yes, you have your Venice. Of course, they'll have it.
Yeah, they're have this. But they actually sell very legit. But for me, that's the king. But it's much rarer. like harder to obtain,
Indeed.
expensive.
Indeed, it's for special occasions only. How do you light? You just light it? It's like rocks, right?
It comes both, yeah. So there are rocks,
or you can get like crushed up on an incense,
and then it comes like in like this kind of container that has like a filter or like a grate on it. Otherwise, yeah, it comes in like incense,
right?
But like varying degrees of quality.
Yeah, it'd be like that. What's your favorite incense? Mine's Nag Champa, hands down, for the win, every day.
I have not I love Nag Champa, but I haven't revisited it for a while. Like, I feel like I used it primarily to like disguise like weed smoking.
I knew that was coming.
In my younger days.
Yeah, so now it just like is that experience.
And now it's I just associate it with that.
I have those incense. Yeah, they've been ruined by memories.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't smell you.
Yeah, and like weed used to be like a much more kind of cumbersome experience. Like if you wanted to travel somewhere, like what would you do?
Shit. And now you're just like, I bring my weed pen.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, I remember like back then I'm like traveling like in my 20s, like, okay, like I'm in this hotel. I'm about to stink this whole fucking like,
now there's,
hallway
you can do
up.
it.
But at least I have my Nag Champa.
Yeah, at least if you're Nag Champa, blow it into like a sock or like all those different other little
So the like wherever I'd be staying, it wouldn't smell like weed, it would just smell like Nag Champa.
And they're like,
yeah, like, like, why does it smell like fucking hippies here? Like, what's going on?
it's sage.
Yeah.
Yeah, weed. Even a couple of years ago, like the change on weed travel and just weed in general has skyrocketed. It's like so much normal now.
Yeah,
so
like
much
just
more normal now.
Yeah, just like the landscape is
insane.
mind-blowing. Yeah,
it's crazy. The differences are like wow.
Yeah,
I just remember traveling around a few years ago and like being so nervous to try to sneak a weed pen on a plane and just like. But now it's like.
Yeah,
fine.
Like, yeah, like I have like a button down
fine,
job.
right?
Yeah, and people are like, "Oh, yeah, I went to the store." Like, "Oh, we can talk about this now."
Yes.
Like, oh, okay.
It's so cool.
But it's funny, like what's acceptable, right? So like, weed has now entered sort of the acceptable public discourse, right? But then if you're like, "Oh, well, I did retreat," or like, "Oh, like I went to a rave," like.
I know. No, they don't understand.
It's very arbitrary, basically, like what people decide is okay to talk about.
It totally is,
openly.
and it varies based on where you're at. It's just totally arbitrary.
So yeah, don't get like a lot of like spiritual people on. So it's cool to like have like some discussion around that.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I did want to ask you, since you're a meditator, like, do you experience like the whole like crazy like repeating numbers thing or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes, big time.
It's weird. So more and more I am like encountering people who experience that. And it started for me maybe like 8 months ago. And before that, like I would see people talk about it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you fucking hippies are crazy.
Yeah.
And then until like recently where it's like, oh, every time I look at a fucking clock, it's like 3:33 or 2:22 or
wow. Those are your numbers?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like, it does like, I don't think there's any particular numbers that like kind of like vibe with me. It's just like, it happens a lot.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, like, so like, do you get that?
I see like, it's funny in different periods of my life, I'll see different repeating numbers.
Okay.
Like these days it's been 1111 and 666.
Okay.
A lot.
Okay.
The 666 thing was like really freaking
But it's not
me out
like,
for a second.
it's not satanic 666.
No,
it's like
no,
a different,
no.
Yeah,
and at first
energy.
I didn't know, and I was seeing it so much, and I started to get freaked out because I didn't really know what it meant. I just was seeing 666, and we think of satanic stuff, and I'm like, fuck, what the fuck?
Right.
And I was like, nah. I went and researched it, and it's actually a reminder to rebalance. That you need to find balance, and it totally made sense based on where I was and am-ish at the tail end of needing that reminder. And so it totally made sense. So yeah, those two have been in my life for the last 6 months or more. But yeah, I've definitely experienced that. 1, 2, 3, 4 was there for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a big one for a while. I don't actually know what that means, but I was seeing that a lot.
Sorry to get woo here for a second, folks.
Oh, we got woo-woo.
Yeah, we got a little woo.
It's okay. Music, I think, is wooey.
Yeah,
Techno
I mean, like
is
rave,
wooey.
it's adjacent, right?
Ravey is wooey. It's not far off.
I like to say underground dance music and all things adjacent, which includes kind of like new age.
It includes this stuff.
And that's what burner culture is, right? It's rave and new age like merge into one.
Absolutely.
So.
I've never been.
Okay, you should definitely get on that.
Yeah, you've definitely been, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I went to a baby Burning Man last year with some people. Everybody got like COVID tested, and they rented this big house in Palm Springs. and a bunch of, those kind of people. We all came together and put on Burning Man as best as we could.
Awesome. Yeah. Like COVID Burning Man, always.
Yeah, we tried. We really
welcome.
tried. It was very fun. I DJ'd for 7 hours.
Holy shit. Okay.
Like not planned, nothing
Were
planned.
you standing there for 7 hours, or was it like B2B?
Standing.
Wow.
By myself.
Okay.
And I just had I just didn't stop.
You were flowing.
I was flowing. I was like Solomon, just kept going.
Yeah. Flow
like,
state.
Yeah, and everybody like would come up to me like, "Do you want food? Do you want water?" I'm like, "Good." Take a beer. I'm like, "But I'm good." They're like, "Do you want to like? We can, we're loving this, but like, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, it feeds my soul.
Yeah.
But that's like it's the Burning Man vibe. It's just like really fucking cool.
Yeah, just flowing.
I haven't been to a real one though. Yeah. They had one unofficially recently.
I heard the unofficial one this year was phenomenal.
Yeah, I had friends that went, and it looks
same.
amazing. I think my friends got married there.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
The only thing is like the no like bathroom infrastructure. That's
Yeah, my friends had to bring a toilet, basically.
Yeah.
So
I had a friend tell me like, yeah, me and my lady, we just did it in bags.
sounds a little shitty.
Because you have to pack it out too, right? It's like leave no trace. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's.
Here we go.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, like you can put it in something.
You couldn't like. It's like the ground is really hard. You can't like dig.
You can't
hole.
dig, and like they're very adamant. Like it's leave no trace. Like you
Like,
cannot.
literally.
You cannot. Like
Are they successful when they do that?
pretty successful, and people like lose their shit. Like I have a very vivid memory of. It's like 6 a.m, just saw sunset, like trying to bike back home, exhausted. And someone's like, emergency. I'm like, what? What happened? Like we stopped by. Like,
Emergency.
Is somebody hurt? And he's like, it's a MOOP emergency. MOOP is matter out of place. It's just like anything that shouldn't be there that's left behind.
MOOP.
And somebody had dropped a bag of nuts. And it had
nuts.
All nuts. And it was just all over. Like, so just like.
Oh no, a lot of MOOP.
Yeah, a lot of MOOP. So everyone's like picking up, like, everyone's like 4 or 5 people like picking up like nuts. All right, MOOP emergency solved. Like,
Good for you.
Move along.
Move along.
But yeah, so if that's how intense people get about the bag of peanuts, imagine when it's a bag of feces.
Yeah, maybe I'll try Burning Man when there's toilets.
But back on the angel numbers thing, like the 1111 thing does not surprise me at all, considering like you are manifesting for yourself like shows and like fucking DJ career.
Oh no, I actually did. And I am going to do my absolute best. I hate telling the story because I don't want to come off of as like, I don't know, weird. But for the Reform contest, I super fucking tried to manifest this shit. To the point where I had friends saying, "Did you buy your ticket to Reform yet?" And I was like, "I'm not buying a ticket."
Yeah, I'm
going to win.
Yeah.
I'm going to win. I don't need to buy a ticket. I refuse to buy a ticket because I was like, I don't need a ticket. I'm going to win.
Well, that's one of the things. Like you put it in your past.
That's why it was so crazy when I did win because I was like, no way.
Yeah, the universe is weird like that.
Yeah, for real. It was crazy.
Weird.
It was crazy.
Like I feel like this happening right now, started like as a like vision, and then
we come off so woo woo.
Yeah, sorry, it's LA.
You know what? This is LA. They should get it.
Yeah.
Y'all get on this.
Yeah, you just don't know. You're just not high vibing.
You don't even know. You're not even vibing with us. It's so not hot.
Just low vibration.
Yeah, the low vibration of them is like really bumming me out.
So with that, since we're on a high note, we're coming up on time, but this has been, nothing but a pleasure.
Totally.
Like, super fun.
Yeah.
And I wish you kind of the best of luck in terms of manifesting more shows. And
thank you.
I'm sure not just me, but like the scene in general will be seeing a lot more of you.
I hope so. I hope to see more of the scene. I'm having a great time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to follow NEKTER, would you want to like plug your socials?
Yeah, my Instagram is at nekter.la. NEKTER is spelled NEKTER. You can find me on Mixcloud, SoundCloud, Resident Advisor, and follow me on Instagram for upcoming shows. And that's it. Thank you.
Follow, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Side Note.
Yes.
All right, folks. Until next time.
Bye.